welcome to this very early morning stream. The light is pouring in behind me. I've not yet had enough coffee, but we're going to talk about something quite complicated. And that subject is macros. So, I'm not going to name anyone in this. I'm not going to call anyone out. And my point in making this video is not to expose anyone or call them a cheat or a hacker for using a macro. I just want it to be known the state of macros in the game right now and why I think actually this is a huge problem for the game. And that most of that problem is not actually caused by the ability to macro. There are perfectly viable reasons to use macros. A few I've seen are like the drift button on HOTAS doesn't work, like the separate drift button from boost, and so it can make sense to be able to map stuff to your keyboard and then to fire a macro from that when you press a button on the stick. There's a perfectly logical, sensible set of reasons why you would use macros and allow macros in your game. For me, the massive problem actually is that the state of the game as it is right now, with things like dead drifting, boost gasping, I saw a thing even on shield gasping this morning, the energy systems in the game, they make it so beneficial to use macros that it's become a little bit ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is show you what is currently possible, like at the outer edges of using macros right now. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here I am, I'm in practice mode, and there's my MC75. Right, so to start with, say you want to do something like use advanced power management, but you want it to work like simple power management. So with advanced power management, you would have to do 2 button presses to effectively pick the system that you want max power in, because you have to say move all your power engines and then move your power back to weapons to have half power in engines and then full power in weapons, right? But if you have a macro, you can do 1 button press. So I want max power shields now, 1 button press, but it looks like 2. Max power engines, 1 button press. So I know lots and lots of people are doing this right now. For a very good reason, because it gives you a massive advantage if you want to dead drift. Shifting your power away from your engines when you dead drift is a big requirement, and trying to do it on a hat can be quite fiddly in 2 button presses, but is the best way to do it. But why do that when you can press 1 button? Okay, macro, next level of macro. Say you want to do a dead drift, right? Dead drifts are complicated. When I started dead drifting, it was really hard, and it took many hours of getting used to it before I could do a dead drift every time. But say I just want to press 1 button. And I can even loop them. See, I'm not pressing anything on my keyboard. I'm just dead drifting on a loop here. And this is what I mean about energy conservation in this game. Like, it's got to the point where if you want to use a macro, you can guarantee you're going to hit that dead drift every time. So why wouldn't you? Just press a button to stop it. Yeah? Or say I want to do a shorter dead drift. I want to use more energy, but I'm going to do a smaller set of more consistent dead drifts. And again, I've just got 1 hand on the stick, I'm flying around, I'll stop. So you might be saying, okay, well that's all well and good, but I can dead drift manually better than that, and I can say, do a short dead drift and then a longer dead drift, and I can chain them together better. Sure you can, I can. At the top level of the game, the only time you would use something like that, and I do see people using it, is when they're trying to escape. Yeah, they're trying to escape in a straight line as quickly as possible whilst maintaining energy in their systems. People are definitely doing this. But you can even do more than that. And this is right at the outer edge of what you could do if you wanted. So that's a whole, effectively an evasion routine, dead drifting. Again, it just runs on one button press. I don't have to press anything at all. If you think about it, if they removed the broken dead drifting mechanics, the broken energy conservation mechanics from the game, then that would be to no effect. I'd just be flying in an easy to hit loop. But the game mechanics are so broken right now that even a little bit of macroing lets you do things where you can become almost invincible, and become very, very hard to hit. I would hope that people who play me know that I'm not invincible and they kill me on a regular basis. But this is a massive issue and it needs to be fixed properly. It's not a case of putting some bodge fix in place. It's not a case of trying to find all the macroing players and banning them, because there are people using macros for very good reasons and very sensible reasons, and I don't encourage that. I don't encourage that kind of witch hunt. It's not productive. It's not productive for the game at all. I think what really needs to happen is these energy mechanics have to be fixed, and the only people who can do that are Motive and EA. Until that happens, you can expect this to continue at the top level of the game and start to filter down into other levels of the community as well, and just to become more endemic and saturated, I suppose, across the community. So, yeah, I hope people find this interesting. I hope they don't use it as the basis for some kind of witch hunt. You know, I'm kind of putting myself out there, and showing you what's possible. I realize that people might just come back to me and go, "Oh, you're a hacker." I don't really care. If people want to take that approach, they're not fixing the problem. They're just attacking me. Personally, I've been playing the game since launch. I don't need to do this, but I think it's time somebody just kind of stood up and went, "This is happening, and it's a big, big problem, and it needs to be solved." Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.